Welcome to Politics NY's newest video series, In the Community With, sponsored by AARP. I'm Robert Pozaricki, Executive Editor of AM New York Metro. Today we'll be in the community with City Councilmember Rita Joseph of Brooklyn. She represents the 40th District, covering the neighborhoods of Crown Heights, East Flatbush, Kensington, Midwood, Prospect Park South, and Prospect Lefferts Gardens. Joseph won the seat in 2021, and she'll be up for re-election this November to complete her term. Councilmember Joseph, great to have you with us.
Well, thank you for having me as well.
Thank you. So let's start with the topic of ageism, which is something that is part of all aspects of life in New York. It's in the workplace, it's in street design, public transportation systems, how services are promoted and accessed, and even in the built environment. What is one ageism issue that you've tackled in your community, and how have you addressed it?
Oh, wow. Transportation. I realized that I have 2 train stations in my district that are not ADA compliant in terms of one of my seniors, if they have a walker, if they have a mobility issue, they cannot get in and out the train station. So that's something I'm advocating for. So I finally got some good news from the MTA. So Church Avenue and Caton Avenue train station will have an elevator. So that's something I worked on. And it was kind of personal to me because I have an older mom. She had me late in life. My mom is 88. So for her to get around as well was very important. So she was my example. And that was one of the things I worked on in the district that I'm very proud of.
Did it give you an idea as to when those elevators will be coming?
Probably in the next 2 years. You know, everything capital takes forever. Yeah, so probably in the next 2 years, but at least we know there's a headway, because the only train station that has an elevator in my district is on Lincoln Road. So it takes about 2 hours. When we looked at the data, it takes about 2 hours for someone to move around when there's no elevator in a train station, going and coming back from their appointment. So it's 2 hours to go, 2 hours to come back. So that's 4 hours already for that person to get around our city. So that's one thing, that's one barrier we're removing, is mobility.
That'll certainly help in terms of livability in your district, for sure.
Absolutely.
And one thing that the AARP is doing is they monitor each district with livability indexes, which you can find at aarp.org. And they provide scores of neighborhoods and communities across the United States based on the health services and amenities that are provided to residents in those communities: housing, transportation, and health. Councilmember, what are some of the challenges in your district toward livability, and how are you using your position to make the neighborhoods in your district more livable?
We know also for ageism is housing. We want to make sure that our seniors they age in place. So we want to make sure they have affordable places for them to live, or if they own homes, to make sure they can maintain and keep their homes. We have organizations that do support seniors who are homeowners, and we want to make sure that we're building. And when we think of buildings, affordable units, we're thinking of seniors as well, making sure they have a place to age in place. So that's important to me. As I talked to my aging chair, Councilmember Hudson, we realized that we will have more older New Yorkers than school children. So we must prepare our districts to make sure that our aging older adults have their place in the community as well, that they're not displaced.
So let's talk about the district as a whole. What would you say is the top issue you've heard from your constituents over the past year, and how have you addressed it?
One of the first things when I got into office is trash. So one of the first things I did when I got into office, I wasn't even sworn in yet. When I came in, I found that there was some remaining funding. So I funded a group called ACE to start cleaning up the district. So as in the last 2 years, and I also brought in the commissioner of sanitation to take a look at my district, to come up with a plan on how do we keep the district clean. Another call I was getting a lot was rats. So I brought in DOHMH to do the rat abatement. So that was another thing that we worked on. So now we have ACE in the district. I'm working in partnership with Flatbush Church Avenue BID. I'm also brought in a new company called CO to make sure that we're keeping the corridors clean. That's important. That's also, cleanliness has to do with health. It has to do with public safety. It has to do with a lot. It wouldn't be a cool thing to see our New York City kids going to school and there's a pile of trash there. So I take that very much into consideration when I took the position that trash was the #1 thing, and then we work our way down.
That makes sense. And finally, is there anyone in the community? I know this is a big question because there's a lot, but is there anyone in the community whom you've worked with over the past year that you want to recognize for their positive impact in the community?
Oh, wow. There is so much. I have clergy. I'm just gonna call the institutions. There's clergy who's been very supportive in my work, clergy, non-for-profits who step up in time of need to support especially our new New Yorkers. My district received a lot of new New Yorkers. So my community stepped up and really locked arms with me to help support our new New Yorkers. So that was amazing. Our non-for-profits, our clergy, our regular neighbors who called and said, "Councilmember, I have clothes. Do you need clothes?" And food distribution. I work with non-for-profits. Food insecurity, especially post-COVID, has been high in our district. And we worked with an organization, I'm going to call them out, Caribbean Equality, that does culturally relevant food distribution twice a month.
That's fantastic to hear. So, Councilmember Joseph, thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
And that concludes this installment of In the Community With, sponsored by AARP. I'm Robert Pozaricki. Thanks for watching and have a great day.